The collapse that strips away civilization's veneer is not merely a test of physical endurance, but a crucible that burns away the performance of self-reliance, revealing that true survival requires not hardening against the world, but allowing your breaking point to become the place where connection finally takes root. In Breaking Point, Harley Tate delivers a post-apocalyptic thriller that transforms the lone wolf survival trope into a profound exploration of communal resilience and masculine vulnerability, proving that in landscapes defined by scarcity, safety isn't found in isolation. It's forged in the radical act of trusting others when every instinct demands you hoard what little remains. This isn't merely another gritty tale of resource management. It's a psychologically precise narrative where every shared ration feels like both risk and revelation. Consent to depend is negotiated through mutual recognition rather than assumed weakness, and healing means honoring the fragility beneath the survivor when the wasteland demands you remain unbreakable. From the first dust and desperation narration, listeners are immersed in a world where silence is strategy and presence is the only true sustenance. Perfect for fans of emotionally intelligent survival fiction and stories where male tenderness defies genre expectations, this audiobook serves up atmospheric dread, relentless emotional honesty, and protagonists whose journey from fractured individuals to sovereign community resonates with anyone who's ever mistaken endurance for wholeness. When former structural engineer Kalen Vance watches his carefully fortified bunker fail during a catastrophic seismic event, he expects solitary devastation, not to discover the collapse mirrors the exact emotional fracture he's endured beneath years of performative competence, and the stranded nurse Alara Thorne's quiet insistence on shared resources bypasses his defenses to create space for a bond that defies post-collapse suspicion. But as they navigate ruined infrastructure and buried attractions, Kalen realizes the survival isn't about endurance, it's about integration. Tate masterfully avoids reducing Kalen to tragic prepper or Alara to nurturing archetype. Instead, she crafts a relationship rooted in radical reciprocity within constraint, where trust is earned through honoring boundaries even as desperation blurs them, and where intimacy emerges from seeing each other beyond survival roles. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional alchemy, capturing Kalen's disciplined focus fracturing into genuine receptivity, and Alara's steadfast calm revealing warmth beneath professional vigilance. You don't just hear their alliance form, you feel the seismic shift of two souls learning that some shelters can only be built when you stop trying to hold up the sky alone. What elevates Breaking Point beyond typical survival thriller fare is its nuanced portrayal of apocalypse as somatic therapy rather than abstract catastrophe. Kalen isn't merely scavenging supplies, he's confronting how preparedness culture taught him to equate worth with control, challenging the notion that safety requires emotional erasure. Alara doesn't soften him through caretaking, she creates sanctuary where his fragility can exist without judgment, honoring his autonomy even as her own walls crumble. Their relationship evolves through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silences during watch rotations that bypass performance, establishing protocols that protect both physical integrity and psychological safety, and defending each other's right to grieve against factions who mistake mourning for liability. Supporting characters add vital texture, fellow survivors whose loyalty encodes suppressed trauma, elders whose wisdom carries intergenerational weight, even the broken landscape itself, rendered as living archive whose fractured concrete absorbs decades of unspoken bargains. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In economies built on extraction, tenderness is technique, and presence is the only sustainable resource. Even the survival mechanics serve thematic depth, with structural assessment mirroring emotional attunement, and shelter reinforcement becoming metaphors for earned trust. For audiobook listeners, this production is an immersive sensory descent into elemental intimacy. The narrator embodies Kalen and Alara with remarkable distinction. Kalen's voice carries gravelly exhaustion laced with dawning softness, while Alara's tone holds steady intelligence beneath layers of hard-won compassion, making their chemistry palpable even in stillness. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming immersion. Distant aftershocks marking temporal rhythm, rain against makeshift tarps during vulnerable confessions, the hushed clink of tin cups syncing with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor existential stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of post-collapse recovery, deliberate during reflection and alliance building, then surging with urgency as external threats collide with internal awakenings. Whether you're commuting through stable landscapes or sitting in twilight solitude, the audiobook creates a portable sanctuary where slowness feels sacred and embodiment feels lifeline. It's storytelling as somatic validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a journey where survival isn't found in outlasting the end, but in beginning again together. Ultimately, Breaking Point redefines post-apocalyptic fiction by centering male emotional labor within survival frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for high-stakes tension and catalytic resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on toxic self-reliance, feminine agency, and the radical act of building partnerships based on mutual recognition rather than rescue. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether strength can coexist with softness, or if true mastery requires embracing what others fear, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful act is simply letting yourself break open. Press play, step into the ruins, and prepare to believe that even in landscapes shaped by ending, hearts still find ways to begin. Your next favorite survival thriller isn't waiting in flawless preppers. It's waiting in the brave, trembling choice to trust the person beside you.